All right, I think we're live now. We'll wait just a few seconds to let everything get going, let people join.
How are you today, Jake? All good?
Yeah, doing pretty good. I think you have some storms coming down there. Yeah?
Yeah, we had it the whole week, but
Yeah.
today I think this will be the same. It's not like a July weather at all.
No, it's cold.
Yeah, yeah, it's 17 degrees.
Yeah.
Right, I can see people started to join.
It's always good. It means they want to hear what we have to say.
Yeah, at least.
All right. Let's go ahead and get going, yeah? I hope
Yep.
everybody can hear us okay. Welcome to our D365 Testing Masterclass by Executive Automats. I'm Jacob Davis, and I'm joined today by the lovely Pavel Wozniak. And we're going to be helping everybody understand the importance and how to test in Dynamics 365, especially with a changing landscape. Things are evolving quickly, and so we want to make sure that we can stay on track and keep up with everything. So, Pavel, thanks for joining us today. I know
Yeah.
you've got a few good things to show us. So
Yeah,
maybe
so
say
today's
hi.
topic is mainly about the maintenance of the script. So yeah, we have very nice things to show.
Perfect. I'm really excited. You were showing me so many things earlier, and uh, I've been waiting for such things. So I'm excited. Thanks everybody for joining us. Again, this is X Plus Masterclass on testing, and Pavel is with Executive Automats, who is in charge really of doing test automation and automation in general. So he's going to help us walk through things today. So let's get going. The agenda for today, we've got the introduction, of course, and we're going to talk a little bit about the evolution of testing over time, even going back towards AX and coming through into D365. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then Pavel mentioned the maintenance needs of testing for F&O and all your projects and different integrations and so forth. And of course, strategies for test case maintenance, and then adapting test cases with Executive Automats, the tool, the application that we use. And of course, we'll save some time at the end for Q&A and closing remarks. So let's hop into it. First thing, we have a survey. Let's get to know everybody a little bit. So you have the QR code that you can scan. Also, I think you'll see in the comments a link that you can get to this survey. It's really important for us to know the people that we're talking to and helping us make sure that we're moving forward in a way that people need. So these type of surveys are really important. All right, Pavel. Evolution of test automation in F&O. We know both of us going from manual testing being the main way of doing things to having test automation be the most important part of your testing program. So maybe you can talk a little bit about this evolution that we've seen.
Yeah, so the evolution of testing for Dynamics 365 was kind of needed because previously in AX in the previous version of Dynamics, of course, we could stay on the manual testing. That was because Microsoft didn't oblige us to get the newest versions. So yeah, there were customers that they never updated AX
Yeah.
for years. So that's why the only thing that they needed to test was some customizations, some in-house changes. Very rarely they were receiving any new features, new updates from the Microsoft itself. And obviously with 365 it changed. In 365 we have the tight schedule of one version and PQU updates. So this is really the shift which boomed the test automation for ERP systems for finance and operations, because we need to be flexible with our testing. We should be able to quickly create, update our tests, and also run them. So we should be able to run scripts, run tests on demand, and we cannot spend weeks on it like with manual testing, because after some, like 4 weeks, we got another update. So our testing needs to be fast, reliable, and also easy for the maintenance. So this is real shift and reality that Dynamics customers needs to handle with those frequent updates.
Yeah, definitely there was a shift, as you've got here in the points, static to adaptive automation. So not just needing to test more, but via automation, but also having automation that is easy to adapt to the changes that are coming. Because
Yeah,
automation is typically thought of do it once and then forget about it, but that's really not the case, right?
yeah, it's completely different with automation.
Yeah.
Automated scripts, they are like cycling. We have
Hmm.
every month we have new testing cycle. Almost every month, it might be different for some customers, but in this ideal scenario, we have testing needs every month, sometimes even more frequently if we have some in-house development. So yeah, we can think that test automation can be done once and we don't need to take care of it. It is a bit different because automated scripts, they are used very often, very frequent. So also those scripts, those automated tests, they need to be easy to adapt, and this is our topic for today: how we can adapt test cases to the changes. So this is really important. So that's why it is important to have the right automation tools to be able to manage your test cases easily and in quick phase.
Yeah, and you've got some really good points here coming forward that will tell us how we can do that. The last point here, you've got importance of traceability. This is another thing that really, I think, most of the customers I talked with, they underemphasize this aspect. But it's definitely important whenever we're talking about automation. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that, and we'll hop into the next slide, some better examples. Yeah.
So we have with testing, we have like two kinds of traceability. One thing is the traceability of the results of our tests. We should be able to quickly identify all the executions, all the test runs. We should have tools, applications which allow us to keep all the executions of tests, that we can always go back to them. So this is one thing, and the second thing about traceability is the traceability of the changes
Mm-hmm.
of the changes in our application, in our requirements. So we will talk about it on the next slides as well. But it is good to keep like the traceability between our requirements to the application and the tests. But we will
Mm-hmm.
elaborate more on it.
Yeah. So maintenance needs for testing projects in F&O, updating test scripts, managing test data, adapting to environment changes. That's really where the focus is going to be today. Yeah. So let's take a look at the very first example here with updating test scripts. Walk us through this. I know you have a nice example at the end as well, and I know we'll see some of this in live as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so we highlighted those like three main types of maintenance. So the first one will be updating the test script. So here we have a definition that the updating test scripts means that we need to make changes in our test cases because of the changes in our processes, in our functionalities.
Mhm.
So there can be a trigger like change in the requirement. The trigger can be the new functionality developed in house, or just the change in the process, like changing some steps within the process. So it is of course a challenge to keep up with all those changes, especially when we test monthly. We need to be always up to date with all the changes to the requirements, and to be able to update test cases. So updating test case usually means that there was a change and we need to make at the end change to the test case. As an example, in finance and operations, we have script testing a purchase order process that fails after adding additional step to the workflow. So let's imagine we have like the changes in the organization. We are changing our processes. We want to add like the additional verification step to our workflow. So we need additional approval to the workflow. So of course it will affect every test case that is working on the process. So it means we would need with this kind of situation update our test cases with this additional step within the workflow. So this is like the example of quite typical uh, updating the test case type of maintenance. The other things might be we got new field that is right now mandatory required on our
Mhm.
sales orders, purchase orders, or we have like new group of customers inside Dynamics 365, and we need to update some test cases with new group. Things like that, they are on this category, like updating the test scripts.
Nice. This is something that every project that I was involved with, um, it was always overlooked until it was completely necessary, and then it was a huge focus, and that is managing test data. There's several different aspects to this, but I know you've got a nice little example here for us. So, talk about managing test data as it pertains to testing projects. Yeah.
Yeah. So of course our scripts or any other automated scripts, they use data to complete the processes inside Dynamics. So Dynamics requires data to complete processes. So that's why the same way automated scripts requires a data. So depends on the strategy, on the approach that we have for managing the test data. We may have different challenges, different problems. Like we may use different databases for the testing and for the production. So it of course requires us to prepare the test data before we can run the tests. So very often, what we do, we run some special scripts to create data before our actual tests may run. But we can also uh, may need to update some fixed values. Like on this example, I have a test case for the invoice processing fails because test data do not exist anymore in the system. So let's imagine we want to run a script that creates invoice for the customer, but the customer is no longer in the system, or the customer may got blocked for some reason inside Dynamics because of the credit limit or whatever. But the record is blocked and the script may fail because the data in the script is wrong. So the managing the test data, we have this type of situation where we don't need to change the steps. We need to change only the values which will be used by those steps. So yeah, we have few options inside executive automats at least to help with it. One more challenge which we might have, especially if we want to use the production data for testing as well, it might be the data anonymization.
Yep.
I think it is not the frequent question, but yeah, very often the best way to test the system is to use the production data. But of course, production data might be the sensitive, like the bank account numbers, real customer names, and so on, so on. So here, what is good to highlight is that we have our special product that can help with it. So we have a product that can take the whole database from your production, upload it to test environment, but anonymized.
Yep.
With all the personal data and sensitive data can be anonymized. So we still can use this data for testing, but we won't be able to see the real values. So this is, I think, worth to mention here.
Yeah, I like this data anonymization. As you said, it can take the production information data and anonymize it. But there's also the secondary aspect of doing some more specific changes that apply to like right to be forgotten laws and things like that. So yeah, that's a really cool product that is available as well. Yeah.
Yeah, please check our previous webinar
Yeah.
on data protection suite if you're interested, because this is really important, and the fees for breaking this
The
GDPR law,
fines.
yeah, the
Yeah.
fine, they can be really high.
Yeah. Try to stay on the good side of the law if you can. It's a good
Yeah.
general rule, right? All right.
All right. Then
So
we had
this is a really cool topic.
yeah, yeah.
Adapting to environment changes. Um, really, this is something that I think you can add a lot of info here, and I know you're going to talk about it later and even demonstrate. So, yeah.
Yeah, so this is about changes that are not because of us. So, in the first definition, the first type of maintenance, it was the script update. The difference between adapting the environment changes or the script updates, in test case updates, the change is required by our changes. We change the requirement, we change the process, and we need to adapt our test cases to changes that we made. This one might be even more challenging because very often we need to adapt our test cases to the changes in the system itself. So with the one version pace, we might get new functionalities that we may start using in our daily work on the daily basis. So then it means that again the process changed, but not because we added something, but because system added new options,
Mhm.
new possibilities. So that's why our employees will start working differently. So we need to test differently as well. Yeah, but there can be different changes. I'm not sure, Jake, if you remember, we had like the major UI update for Dynamics around 3 years ago,
Yeah.
where all the test automation tools struggled. Even the Microsoft RSAT had problems with the new UI inside Dynamics. Every table changed. So yeah, this was like a major change that required every every client in the world who is doing test automation to do something with the test cases. So it was like the change that was from the top, right, from the system itself. So
Yeah.
it required us to update not single test case, but almost every test case that we had. So this type of maintenance is triggered by the changes that are not on us. They are like the environment changes. Here I have an example that the whole test suite fails after a cloud update, which modified role permissions, and this blocks the test cases. So we then had this kind of situation, at least in my experience inside Dynamics 365. But this is quite good example to kind of picture what kind of changes it can be. It can be the change to the permissions, which also may like fail every test case that we had, and
Yeah.
it may require us to do something about it.
So maintenance needs, test case maintenance, changes in requirements, UI modifications, functionality updates. Um, you've explained these a good little bit. where do we go from here? Changes in requirements. We've explained that. UI modifications. That's been explained. Functionality updates. It's been explained. I think we have some examples of such things
Yeah.
that we're going to talk about. Yeah. Or
Yeah. So
maybe traceability we talk about before
yeah.
that.
So here we had a summary about those triggers. Now we have the some like tactics, approaches to kind of handle all those changes. So the
Mm-hmm.
first one will be the traceability. This is highly connected to this requirements changes. So ensuring traceability might be, for instance, linking your test cases to business, to finance and operations business requirements. So for every Dynamics 365 implementation, we create requirements, especially for the gaps, but also for the standard functionalities. We need to, during every implementation, list out how we will behave in the system, how we will work in the system, how we will change the system as well. So this is how we mentioned this triggers the testing needs. So whenever we change the requirement, we add something to requirement. This requires us to change test cases. And if we don't have this connection, if we don't have any place where we have um, like the synchronization between test cases and the requirements, then we don't have this information. The requirement may change, and nobody will update the test case if test manager is not working with the business as well. They as a business may change something, but the test manager, if they don't know about it and the testing team then they don't know about it, they will get failed test cases very often, and it may be the problem later on. We will get errors and failed test cases because of the lack of communication, or this relation between test case and the requirement. So of course the challenge here is to have that mapping test cases with the requirements, and especially this is challenging if we have very huge coverage of test cases and we have huge number of test cases. It might be challenging to keep everything up to date, to link test cases with the requirements. In executive automats, it is simplified a bit because our application can integrate with Azure DevOps and test plans in Azure DevOps. So we can export every script that we created in executive automats as a test case to Azure DevOps. And in Azure DevOps, we have tools to quickly link our test cases with the right requirements, so we can keep this traceability on place. All right, implementing versioning. Yeah, yeah. Wanna start, Jake?
Yeah. So implementing versioning, it's also critical to what we're trying to do. Version control uh, relates to traceability. You have to track the changes, but also version control allows for rollbacks. Also, keeping your documents in order. I know you're going to show a good example later of using like a global Excel file, for example. And so we've got written here document evolution, but that's a fancy way of saying, your data is going to change over time. So keep it in order. And here's how you can do it. So talk a little bit about
Mhm.
how versioning might relate to traceability, but also is another aspect that you have to approach things from. Yeah.
Yeah, so of course, even if we have the traceability on place and we have our test cases linked with the requirements, if we don't version our scripts, it might cause problems as well. Because if we don't have any like the trace that some changes were made to the test case, we never know if the changes from requirements they were implemented to the test case at the end. We don't know what happened in the past, how the test case was changing, so we never go back with all the changes. Sometimes we may even during the maintenance breaks something in the script.
Yep.
So it's always good to have an option to go back or just to trace what how it was working in the past. So implementing version, first of all, gives us this access to old versions. For the second, it gives us this traceability that we actually did the changes required. We have a trace after it. And also it's easier for the communication and the work among the team members, because
Yep.
they will see who's working on which version, who edited which version, and then it's easier for them later on to go back to ask the questions of the teammates, what they changed in each version. So in general, it's way better to have it than rather not.
And how
Um,
are we doing that with our application, Executive Automats?
mhm. So first of all, again, we have this integration with Azure
Mhm.
DevOps. So Azure DevOps, of course, has some features, functionalities to keep test cases versioned. So when we export scripts to test cases inside Azure DevOps, we can put some tags, some even comments about the version. So inside DevOps, it is really easy to do that. But inside Executive Automats, what we can suggest, this is the naming convention. I know we were like reminding about it almost on every webinar, but this
Yeah.
is really crucial to have some kind of naming convention for the scripts, where one of the part of the name can be the version, or at least some kind of ID which we will update with new versions, new changes. So this is one thing. But also inside Executive Automats, we have statuses of the scripts, and we can track the changes between status change. So if
Mhm.
somebody changed the status, we can always see what was done before the change. So this allows for this traceability for the first place, but also it allows you to create some kind of workflows for your team to start scripts on one status, inform other team members that you are working on some test cases. If you put the right status, you can put status for the review, like to inform your test manager which test cases should be reviewed after the changes or after creation. So statuses help with versioning of scripts as well. So yeah, it's easy to do that in EA.
Nice. This is a very good topic, modular test cases, making sure to design them in a modular way, reusable, independent components. Talk about this. This is really kind of the Lego block system that we started with whenever we were beginning things. Yeah.
Yeah, so if we create scripts in this way that they can be reused, or just parts of it they can be reused, and then we may save some time on creating new tests. So very often in the testing we have a like variants, so very similar test cases, but they are different at some point, maybe with one or two steps, or sometimes only with the data. So if we created a test case in the right way, we can just create a quick copy of it to reuse it. But also we can create scripts itself, which are part of the process, which is very common for other processes, and other processes needs to repeat that part. For example, it can be change of the legal entity. Instead of creating steps in every test case to change legal entity, instead of it, you can create like a script that will automatically change the legal entity
Mhm.
for the selected one. And you can reuse this kind of script in like 100 other scripts, which requires legal entity change. So first of all, you copy your first work. You don't need to do it again and again for every test case. So it saves some time on it, but also it speeds up the modifications, any maintenance, because if there would be a change on the UI in the way how you change the legal entities, you don't need to update later on 100 scripts each.
Yeah.
with new steps. Then you just update one script, which is linked to 100 other scripts, and all of them, they get updated at once. So in executive automats, very often we create scripts in this approach. What we do very often as well is to create precondition scripts. So these are the special scripts which are fulfilling preconditions for other processes. So let's imagine you would like to create vendor, but you don't want to pick the vendor from Dynamics itself, because it may change, because data might be different on different environments, and so on, so on. So way better is to create test case that will start with script that will create a vendor for the process. So I will always have the fresh vendor to work on it, and I can execute this kind of combination of two scripts on any Dynamics environment, no matter what data there is, and I can reuse the test cases because I'm using the precondition script which creates data for my actual test. So this is very beneficial, and we do that in Executive Automats very often. I will show you how it looks. But else, what we can use the shared steps. So very often, as we mentioned, we have the steps which are very the same for different test cases. In Executive Automats, this is really easy to share steps between scripts because we can just copy and paste them between test cases. So this is worth to use. I know that many customers, instead of recording script, they are just copying parts of scripts and changing one or two steps in it with the differences. For the modular test cases, we have also one more option, which is global Excels. It allows us to use one data source for multiple test cases again. So this way, again, we have this option to overwrite our data source file in
Yeah.
just one place and update every test case that is using it. So very good option. External data options like API calls to OData, to even directly to database of Dynamics. This may help maintain our scripts if we are taking data directly from database. When we update database, it will of course affect our scripts. So if we have test cases or needs to always have the fresh data from database, this might be also a good idea.
Yeah.
And at the end, we have AI steps. So today I will show you a very nice example of one modular step which I created. And this was idea for this step was from yesterday. I had an example where a customer needed very specific change in his script. So I created code for it, but today I will show you the new functionalities in Executive Automats that can do it without coding. So
Yeah.
yeah.
This is awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. This is kind of the meat of what we're talking about. So, adapting tests with executive automats, you're going to show some examples here. But one of the ideas is being able to leverage uh, automation AI to kind of self heal tests and handle any changes that happen in the UI. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's start getting into that. This is really the fun part.
Yeah, so this is what I especially want to show today. With the newest version of Executive Automats, we have new functionality which allows us to automatically fix broken scripts. And you mentioned to handle UI changes. That's the easy job. To fix locators when element change. This we have like secured. But what our AI can do more is to also fix the functionality changes. So it can even fix the logic of the script, logic of the process automatically. So if some steps are missing, or if user made a mistake during script creation, AI may also fix gaps like missing steps and so on. So yeah, I have a really nice example, uh, and I hope we can show it to you guys.
Yeah, let's see. You want to share your screen now?
Yeah, yeah. Also, I will show you the how it works with Azure DevOps integration. So I will show you also the options for continuous integration and continuous development, and some other benefits in enhancing test scalability and adaptability in executive automats. All right, so let me share the screen now. Okay,
See if I
entire
can help you
thing.
out.
Yes, so I will add it to the
I'm going to add
stage
this
now.
one.
Should be visible.
So we've got the dashboard on the screen now.
Yeah. So I will start with standard things first. Very, very basic, but important. I want to show you guys how it looks in Executive Automat. So we will start with this traceability of the results and also of the changes. So let's start with the results of testing. So first of all, Executive Automats contains every execution of the script. So this is very basic, but of course, in Executive Automats, you have all the details about every executed script. Here, what I'm showing to you is the scheduler history. So schedulers, they are of course the batch jobs which we can use to execute some scope of our tests. So here I have the scheduler, which is the regression scheduler. I have 13 scripts in a scope. And of course, once we schedule tests, we execute them, we have the full traceability of what happened. So executive automats do it as a basic, gives us this possibility to trace every test execution in very detailed way. We can see what happened, what went wrong, what didn't work in the application, uh, and of course it is all saved. All those history records, they stay on the environment, so we can verify this even after years from the execution. Yeah, and what is important then, the next thing is that I mentioned that we can integrate with Azure DevOps. So all those results which we have on our schedulers, the result from it can be also like transferred, delivered to Azure DevOps. So we can get traceability in both places. So to be like double secured, we have history in Executive Automats, but we can always get also the results in Azure DevOps to have this double traceability. And also Azure DevOps is very often important for the stakeholders. They don't want to verify the test automation tools itself, applications. They want to just see the results. So this is also important. So how Executive Automats integrate with Azure DevOps? First of all, we can export our projects to the test plans. So our projects integrates with the test plans, sub projects integrates with test suites inside Azure DevOps, and of course test cases, they are linked with the scripts which are in the folders. So on my example, I have exported this project with the regression suite and also with the smoke test suite. So if I will jump in to my Azure DevOps, here, as you can see, I have my regression suite exported, and also I have my smoke tests. And on the smoke tests, let's open up one of the exported test cases. So as you can see, we have the every step listed in the DevOps. Of course, we have this connection that if we make any changes in the script itself in Executive Automats, it will update also the test case here on the DevOps side. What is important here on the DevOps, we can link our epics features, requirements, whatever we use and whatever we have the approach. The important thing is that we here in DevOps we can do that, because in executive automats we don't have requirements, we don't have this correlation, so it's hard to map the test cases with the requirements. But if we use the DevOps integration, every test case can be in both places, in both applications, and DevOps allows us to make the strict connections between our script and and the requirement. And of
Mhm.
course, Azure DevOps allows us to also get the results, to review results of our tests. Here in Executive Automats, we can do it in few different ways. One of the options that we have is to simply execute the whole suite of test cases. So let's do that right now. So I will schedule my smoke test, and I have my option results in DevOps. So this way, I will be able to trace those results also on the DevOps side. So this is really cool. Let's see here on the DevOps itself if some tests already started. Yeah, I can see that some
There
of
we
them
go.
are already executed. They are in progress now. So of course, after the execution is done, we will see results here on the DevOps side. So this boosts our traceability for the requirements and for the outcomes, for the history of execution. What else is nice about this integration is the integration between pipelines. So of course we should be able to run test cases just after we made changes to our environment. So with this integration, we can use pipelines to do that. So instead of having some kind of communication to run the tests after we updated the environment, we need to involve communication people. Instead of it, very easily, we can directly run our testing from the build itself. So when our build to Dynamics ends up with new code, new changes, then the next step in the process might be to run tests in executive automats. And of course, get the results in EA and also on the DevOps side. So this is what I wanted to mention as well for this traceability topic, because this has enhanced it. We have the traceability in both places, so we know that nothing will disappear from one or another application. All right. Then we can move to more to the adjustments in the scripts and the maintenance. The first thing that I want to show you is precondition scripts. So this is something that we mentioned on the data maintenance. So this is example of the modular test case creation. Here on my regression project, one additional project is the preconditions. This project contains right now one script, but the scripts that are like shared steps or shared parts of the processes used in different scripts. So here I have a script create vendor, which is very simple, very standard vendor creation inside Dynamics. This is without any verifications, without any special options on the process. This is very straightforward vendor creation. But this script is used in two other scripts, one to create purchase orders and the other one to create vendor payments. So in this case, I know that I can reuse my both scripts, vendor payment and purchase order creation, on every environment, on every legal entity, because each of those scripts, they will start with the vendor creation. So always the purchase order will be created for freshly created, newly created vendor. Uh, so when we open our purchase order creation, we can see that as a first step in this process, we have another script linked. So this is this modular test case creation, where we create our test cases as a reusable components that can be reused as a parts of other test cases. So we should keep this in mind and use functionalities available in executive automats, because it makes our scripts like bulletproof. We very often we don't have this issue with missing data or with updated data, because data is created by itself. So very very good option. Uh, Next one, what I want to show you is Global Excel's feature. So Executive Automats supports functionality that allows you uh, to use like one file, like one master data file for multiple test cases, multiple scripts at the same time. So on my script list, I have two script examples, which they are exactly the same. They are just straightforward process for free text invoice posting, and the only difference between them is the legal entity on which they work. So all the steps are the same for both scripts. I need only different data for each execution. So that's why I have created one master data file, which contains values data for both of my scripts. So let me show you how Excel file looks like. So very straightforward. First, spreadsheet contains data for one legal entity, but there is also another one which contains data for next legal entity. And this way, I don't need to create scripts from scratch. I don't need to remember which data I'm using in the script. Right now, if I would like to create another variant for, let's say, another legal entity, I can just copy the structure to the next spreadsheet, put the right data, right values for my process, then create a copy of the script and link the script with master data file, and within a minute or even less than minute, I can create like a third copy of my process, third variant for the execution.
Yep.
So this is also something that can help us with the data management, because of course, when we override Global Excel, we override it only in one place, and all of the scripts that are affected that they use this Excel file, they will get updated. So
Yep.
it makes it much easier to handle changes in the data when we use master files as a data source. Right, and finally, I want to show you new cool things that they were just released this week, actually. So I hope
Cool
everything
stuff.
will be fine. So I have my test case prepared to post the free text invoice, and this script is very straightforward. Let's run it. It shouldn't take long to run it. And I broke this script on a purpose. So let's run the script. I want to show you how it fails, what is the problem in the process. So let's first wait for the execution. So this script creates free text invoice. It uses global Excel as a master data file. Um, yeah, and if you take a look on the steps, everything should be fine with this test. It goes to the module, creates new invoice, selects the customer for it. But as you can see, I intentionally removed the step from it. So without this step, without clicking post, of course, we cannot confirm posting. So click OK. Cannot be executed. It cannot do the action, because without clicked post, we cannot continue. So I want to show you what will happen right now and what we can do about it in the new version. Right? So as you can see, click OK is the confirmation for the posting, but without clicking here to post, this step cannot be executed. So it will fail shortly. it still tries to execute it. There is like a standard timeout for it. Is I think 20 seconds on this environment. Yeah, so step cannot be executed, element is not found. All right, so normally in executive automats, of course, we have options to create new steps very quickly. We are able to add new step, but we need to be modern, right? We want to improve. So and right now we introduce new option, which is self-healing capabilities. So if I go to the details of my script, right now in the more options, we have new feature, which is AI recovery. So I will enable it on my test case to try to fix it with AI. Also, I have two more AI steps which I will uh, enable, bring back. They are not fixing the test case, but they also use AI to do very nice things. And after the execution, I will show you what it does. So right now, I will play it again, but with this recovery option. So let's see what happens. Right? Let's run it. So till step okay, everything should be exactly the same. Mhm. Okay.
Getting there.
Yeah. So right now we have click OK again. So it will circle like once or twice to try to execute it in a standard way. But let's see what happens next. Okay, we can see something is happening here. All right, we see that step execution failed, so this step couldn't be executed, but it started AI recovery. So right now, AI agent is trying to figure out what's wrong with this step, why this step failed, why it wasn't successful. So it also takes a look on previous steps and next steps in the process to kind of deduct what happened and what should happen to make the process work. So let's see. Of course, this is AI, so AI may give us the different results for each execution. We are working on the solution for that to save like say good answers from the AI. This is something that we will work on to have more accurate results. But anyway, right now AI is trying to not only solve the step that was working and is not working anymore. Right now, it tries to even understand the logic of the script, logic of the process, and find a way. Okay, so all right, let's see what is happening. It is still trying. I will click the post button. This is what agent said. So it deducted well that the click post is missing, but right now the agent is trying uh, to click on it. But as I can see, something is blocked here, and it can't click on the button. So as you can see, it says that I should click on the pause button, but let's see if it handles it. If this won't work, I will also rerun it in a background to get again this result. Let's see how it goes in a background. Of course, this is new feature. Uh, I'm still mastering it, so let's check the history.
So in the background,
Of
do you
course,
get those
the
info
previous.
logs, those messages? If you run in the background and
Yeah, yeah.
you'll get a history. Yeah.
I will show it right now.
Hmm.
We'll see how this execution works. But I had the same execution just done before the webinar. So again, this click OK was failed. As you can see, it attempt to do AI recovery. So then it did the same. So it checked that yeah, it needs to open post form before OK can be clicked. So it clicked the post button on the command bar, and then it clicked OK. We have a screenshot for it as well. So as we can see, it continued the playback. So let's
Uh-huh.
see how our actual run goes. Sorry. Okay. History. It is still running. Okay, so it is on the click OK now. So we will see if it goes further. Okay, still thinking. Of course, we use AI models for it. Right now, I'm using the Chat GPT, but you can use other models as well. And by the time, of course, models will improve, models will change, so more options will be available. All right, this time it worked. Again, it did the AI recovery. So as you can see, this the agent, it was able to analyze the process and find that, all right, we are missing the previous step didn't work, that's why this step fails. So it could actually execute the previous step to do the action. And then I have also next step, which is AI, which you might find very interesting, because right now we can use also agents on AI step as well. So previously we were able to do simple tasks like tell AI to click on something, click on the button, type value to the field. But right now we can use agents, and agents are able to do more things. Like you can have one step that will go to the module, find the item, and also filter it from the table. So I used this option to do the verification step. So instead of classical conditional step, I used AI to verify my expected result for the process. So I gave him instruction to check if free text invoice was posted. As I told him that it can validate the accounting status. But then I told him as well to validate if invoice amount is not higher than 500. So we will see what it gives. But also, I created one more step, which includes some code. But I wanted to show you that right now in Executive Automats we can use the framework that allows us to go into interactions with AI. So I want to use AI extract to extract by AI some information from my process and save it to the variable. So I created variable which is the invoice number, and I told AI to find out the invoice number of the posted invoice and save the invoice number as a variable. So if we open the history now, we should see the results from it. And this is our second execution. The first one in the foreground didn't work, but no worries. So let's see this verification step. So we can see what agent tried to do. So it needed to validate the accounting field and also the invoice amount. So here we can see the result. So the free text invoice was posted, accounting status field showed completed, and additionally, the invoice amount is 1 to 3, so it is way less than 500. So both conditions are satisfied. So this way we can use AI to also do the verifications, like the verification of our process. And of course, our next step found by itself where is the field which contains invoice number. It located it by itself and gave me the invoice number after the posting to the variable, which I can later on reuse, of course, in my script. Let's see also the screenshots of it. So it found that the invoice number is here in this field. All right,
Nice.
that would be all from the live demo session. Uh, if you want guys to see this on a demo, yeah, feel free to reach out to us. We will show you all the AI stuff that we have. Of course, we are still ourselves like discovering what
It's
else
the
we can.
beginning,
Yeah,
but you can see the potential. Yeah.
yeah. So there
Really
will
cool.
plenty of places where we had problems with clients to do something. Right now with AI, it should be much simpler. And also the changes in the script. When our script fails for some reason, we can use
Yeah.
AI to fix it.
Yeah. The self healing. That's the hugest next step. I'm super excited to see what comes. Yeah. Thanks, Pavel. Um, I think we're getting short on time here. Want to run through a couple of things here at the very end. Like we mentioned last time, starting November 1st, Microsoft's going to be enforcing new licensing model for Dynamics 365. If you don't have a valid license, no access. We have ways that we can help you out with that. We work with a lot of customers. We have a lot of expertise in this area. And Pavel, you can probably tell us a little bit more. Our former tool is now going to be a part of Dynamics standard. And so maybe give a little bit of a update on this part here. Yeah.
Yeah, so November 1st is like a deadline for all
Yep.
the Dynamics users, because every user that has no license assigned to it in LCS won't be able to access Dynamics 365. So starting from November 1st, we will need to map every user account from our Dynamics to the right license. So first of all, to be able to do that, we should confirm that our roles are good, our roles are correct. Because if we need to map every user with a license, it would be good, I guess, to pay only for the right licenses. We don't want to
Yeah.
overpay for them. So this is really a good opportunity for all of the customers to take a look on the security roles that they have inside Dynamics, to maybe revisit them, to maybe create new roles. And with our solutions, we can speed this up significantly. We can create roles within minutes. With our solutions, so we can help you out in a quick creation of the new role or adapting your new role, do the license optimization for you guys, and also audit your roles if you're not sure if your roles will fit the new changes from Microsoft. Yeah, so please be aware that this will change in 2 months.
Yeah. Let's talk. All right. Let's see if we have any questions. We really appreciate everybody joining us today. Hopefully, you got some good information. Pavel is one of the best here to answer any questions. Ooh, here we have a question. Let me put it up here on the screen so everybody can see it. So, what AI modules are available for use by executive audits?
So for sure, you can use Azure Open AI. You can use ChatGPT as well. We support all of the models, so you can use the ChatGPT Mini 4.1, 4.0 as well. We can work with Cloudy as well, and some other AI models. In the future, of course, we will add more support to everything what is new. I know that the Perplexity is pretty popular right now, so maybe this will be our next step. We'll see. But for now, we have the Azure OpenAI, all ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, Cloudy. I think that's all for now.
Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions that come in. We also have a link here in the comments for the survey, of course, but also when we were talking about the security changes and permissions that are happening here in November, you can go to this link in the chat about USG. That's User Security Governance. And so it's a very nice, helpful, informational link for you. All right. Any more questions? Pablo, really appreciate you today. Good information, good demonstration.
Thank you too for the moderation.
My job's easy.
Right. Do we have anything else?
I think that's about it. All right. Well, Pavel, thanks again. And as usual, you and I will talk. And everybody, thanks for joining us. And you can use this QR code to get to our website, also executiveautomats.com. So it's quite an easy website to remember. And look forward to talking to you.
Yeah. Keep updated to get the news from us.
Yeah, the only spot to get it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.